TNA Wrestling crossed that line again as they presented Rebellion. Betrayal after betrayal and trouble is brewing, and that is really the highlights from what was quite an interesting night in TNA. And let's just get into it, shall we? There's no point in me talking about it. Let's just get into it. Look, so TNA started. Ryan Nemeth BDE was the countdown to Rebellion before the show started, and I kept saying you've heard me say it a lot recently. BDE needs to pick up some victories in TNA, and I just feel like it was this was the right time. This was the right time. This was the right match. We know Ryan Nemeth. He's a bit of a joke character to a degree in TNA. He's always that chick, what I call the chicken shit heel. And BDE has lost so many matches, and this match was really the one for him to pick up the victory. But he didn't. He absolutely didn't. And he hit the big Hollywood ending on BDE for the victory. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know about this one. This one's BDE is great in ring performer. He really really is, and he's getting better and better and better. But that stock and that momentum is dropping. Is absolutely dropping. And caramel latte, by the way, great way to start the day. Um, I don't know what to make of it because if he starts going for championships, how are we all going to take him seriously? That's the problem now. He's lost so many matches already, and I don't recall him winning a single match. Could be wrong on that. Has been quite a few months now since BDE's come in. So yeah, look, Ryan Nemeth wins the match, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Ryan Nemeth picks up the victory. Interestingly enough, in this, after the match, Carlos Silva joins the Countdown to Rebellion panel. Ooh, Cleveland wasn't so keen on the TNA president. There's been stories and that out there about talent being pulled. I'm not going to get into that, but you read up on it, make your own mind up on it. But Cleveland, excuse me, still suffering, wasn't that impressed. Let's just say that. And someone else that wasn't impressed, EC3. Now, this is the exciting bit for me. EC3, sorry, Eric Young wasn't impressed with the fact that EC3 is returning to TNA Wrestling at Rebellion. News that broke late yesterday, and so Friday is Friday, late Friday. Um, and I couldn't be happier that EC3 is coming back into TNA. We posted it out there about trouble brewing. I said about trouble brewing on here, and yeah, Eric Young isn't happy with it, but we'll get to that in a bit more detail later on in the show. But it was time to start the show, and they did announce on the pre-show or the countdown to Rebellion, however you want to look at it, that the opening match of the show would be Leon Slater and Cedric Alexander. When you say that, you just sit down, you take a sip of your drink, you put TNA Plus on, and you just smile and watch because this was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Both of these men left it all in the ring on this. You know what you're getting with Leon Slater, in this. I would be quite interested. It was great awareness shown by Leon Slater in this match. There was a bit where there was a really close fall when Leon had got his foot on the ropes, but you could kind of hear him say um, he lifted his leg, sorry, to Alexander to kind of tell him to put that one on the rope so he could break up the pin. It was a little bit, thing at the end, it was a little bit, to do the break, the pin break, but it was great awareness. People could say, well, he messed up, blah, blah, blah. He saw the situation, he understood it, he saw where he was in the ring and told Alexander, you know, to do it. So that was really good. But this was brilliant. Leon doing some a Styles clash again. We need AJ Styles out of retirement. One match against Leon. We need it. We need it. He done the Styles clash, which was brilliant. And Cedric Alexander in this match was also fantastic. However, it was Leon Slater with the Swanton 450 that gets the victory in this match. And I don't think I would have been unhappy with anyone winning this match, to be honest with you, even if Cedric had won it. It was quite interesting on our podcast predictions. There was a quite a big divide between quite a lot of these matches. So I've got to do the calculations later. But I've got to have a look and see. But there was a divide in a lot of these matches, which was great. This is what it's all about. And this was one of them that had a couple had Cedric, a couple had Leon. But they delivered. They absolutely delivered an amazing X Division match. And still wonder, Leon's got option C. Will we cash that option in? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know yet. Does Leon even know? Who knows? Can't wait for it. Mike Slater. Leon's got a brother, folks. Mike Santana was basically backstage getting ready for his main event. He was getting ready to go to war with Eddie Edwards, and we'll get into that in a minute. Frankie Kazarian and Elijah was next. Now we've seen this happen quite a way. Elijah attacked at the cemetery on Impact. He come back and tried to get some revenge on Kazarian later in that show. This was fun. This was a fun little match. This one, I enjoyed it. I've always been a big fan of Elijah. I thought that was a great acquisition from TNA when he's got it in. And Kaz is just that the old guard of TNA. When you think of TNA of old, when you go on TNA Plus and you subscribe, which you all should do, um, and you get the archives and you see the Kaz with the long hair. He's just a stalwart of TNA wrestling. There was some straps used in this. I liked how the ending of this, near the ending of this, sorry, that Kazarian didn't turn Elijah around from the low blow because he was occupied with the referee and just went for it anyway. Veteran. That is what I'm saying. A veteran of wrestling, a veteran of TNA. Kaz knows what he's doing in there. And that's exactly what happened. He hit the low blow. He then done the pinfall and got the one, the two, the three. And Kaz picks up a victory over Elijah. But one suspects this isn't over and he may have to walk with Elijah a few more times yet. Speaking of walking with Elijah, if you go to my good friend Justin over at the I Love Wrestling podcast, they have an exclusive interview with Elijah prior to Rebellion. So go and check that out. And of course, go and check out our TNA exclusive interviews as well. Eddie Edwards and Harley Hudson are the recent additions to those TNA interviews. So go and check them out while you got a chance. Stax and Ariana Grace has a plan. Stax has a plan for her knockouts defense against Lei Ying Lee in a bit. So we'll find out if that plan comes to fruition. But it was the battle of the big men next. Now, I just need to turn to my podcast prediction league, if you don't mind. I need to check something because everyone in this went for Moose, barring one. And I need to see who that person. It was our good friends J Star and Tai P that didn't go for Moose. And they were right not to go for Moose. Anyway, this was two Battle of the Big Men, or as Matt Rayweld put it, Redwoods in the ring. Special Agent Zero absolutely killed this in his first match. Moose was fantastic as always. He had the rough landing early doors with a spear spot. You need to have a look at that. That was, oof. Thankfully, they were both okay. Well, they seem to be both okay. Anyway, he also Moose planted Special Agent Zero on the ring, steel ring steps on the outside of the ring as well. Alicia got the worst of this. There was a run-in by the Great Hands earlier on in this because obviously the system and the Order 4 are somewhat together as an alliance right now. Alicia caught the worst of that. But it was the choke bomb from Special Agent Zero that, in a lot of opinions, picked up the win and got the job done. That is a hell of a first win, singles win for Special Agent Zero. Perhaps where TNA see Special Agent Zero is someone that could they could potentially win championships. But congratulations. I have to congratulate our good friends Jay Star and Taipei over at the 10 Count podcast for getting the job done and being the only ones that predicted, because I didn't predict it either, that Special Agent Zero would pick up the victory. So congratulations there. Right. Hardcore country in more ways than one, not just a return to TNA wrestling of Mickey James, but this match was going to be contested in hardcore country rules, which basically just means anything goes, which is probably the best thing they could do here. It was, of course, the Elegance brand. They were facing Mickey James, ODB, and Taryn Terrell. Um, I think Rebellion kind of needed one of these chaotic, crazy matches where all sorts are going on, slams on lollipops. The, Mr. Elegance, I don't think is going to be able to have kids. I don't quite know what ODB used around the crown jewels, but it looked painful. Um, Personal concierge gets involved in this as well. He was turned into a pickle dick and sent out the ring. It was crazy. It was chaotic. It was a bit messy in places, but I think you can get, you know, you can kind of give it that because of, the type of match it was. However, Ash by Elegance blinded ODB with the hairspray and hit the DDT for the victory and gave the Elegance brand possibly a surprise win. I don't know. She probably won't be happy me saying that. The mark, Ash by Elegance. Don't call her a mark, folks. Um, but nevertheless, the Elegance brand picks up the dub and carries on. And God, well, what's going to happen next? They're tag team champions. Ash is going to want to win that knockouts title back. There's no doubt about that. And have we seen the last of Mickey James, ODB, and Taryn Taro? I hope not. We certainly haven't seen the last of ODB. And in fact, if you go to our special guest interviews, you'll see we had seen an interview with myself and ODB as well. But what I mean by that, it was quite funny actually. Tommy Dreamer and Carlos Silva got in the ring, and I think Tommy said, "Yeah, we'd love to see you again. We'd like to see you in the ring again, but you have to dress appropriately." And the reason why she's got to dress appropriately is ODB, Bound for Glory, is going into the TNA Hall of Fame, and she absolutely deserves it. Her career in TNA was fantastic. She was always that big bundle of energy. I don't mean big in the sense of big, just a big ball of energy. She was, if you were watching it and the show wasn't great and you heard ODB's music, you would get up and smile or get up and be like, yeah, okay, shit's going down. Fantastic that ODB is going to get the opportunity at the Bound for Glory. I think she was actually genuinely caught off guard. I don't actually know if they had planned this with her or told her beforehand because she genuinely looked surprised. She got a lot of food in her truck though. If you wouldn't mind, if you do international shipping, us at hitting the turnbuckle, me, David, Fiona, and Michael would be happy to. Fiona's traveling out there soon, so hmm, if you're in the Cedarville area, she may stop by. But if you wouldn't mind, you know, chucking some food our way. But no, in all seriousness, congratulations to ODB. Absolutely deserved, and the sun is shining through here in the UK just for you, ODB. Bit of a, I would say, a bit of a pointless bit. Elena Black was there. She was checking her phone, saying, "Oh, she's made 250, oh, $10,000." So that was in the last 10 minutes. Blah blah. But anyway, the point of her interview was that she's got her eyes on the Knockout Championship, which is what I've been saying for so long, and that she's going to be watching that match very, very closely. Well, good, because if there's anyone that deserves that Knockouts Championship or an opportunity at the Knockouts Championship, it is Elena Black, and she's an absolute star, and TNA are very lucky to have her. Right, AJ Francis versus Nick Nemeth with Nick Nemeth had Bernie Kosar in his corner. I hope I've pronounced that right. This was good. This was again, people were kind of like all the time, oh AJ, oh Nick, this is going to be blah blah. This was great. This was nearly match. I say nearly match of the night, X Division, you know, but um, they really hit a home run with these two. It probably would have got when people sort of say marks or star ratings, blah blah. Blah, it probably would have got better had the involvement in the end. It looked a bit awkward. So um but by the way, before we get to the bit, I want to say Nick Nemeth hit an avalanche zigzag or danger zone as we now know it for a I mean, that should have been the end, if I'm honest with you. When he hit the avalanche danger zone, it wasn't, but you know, again, that was brilliant. And they should have ended it. In my opinion, that should have been the end. Whether you could have done the Gaga bit I'm just about to talk about, then and then have him hit the avalanche may have worked out better. But anyway, so Bernie Kosar gets involved. He's an old man. He swings one of the anyway, he's got a chair. So is AJ Francis. But the music of KC Navarro hits. Now, KC Navarro was kicked out of first class by AJ Francis and Rich Swann. Not well a while ago because he got, if you remember, KC Navarro got injured. His music hits. He walks down to the ring. He causes a distraction. Bernie hits the weakest chair shot in wrestling history on AJ Francis, and then the danger zone. The referee that's knocked out gets thrown back in the ring and covers the 1, 2, 3, and Nick Nemeth um, wins the match. And whatever happens, props to AJ Francis again because I'm telling you, he always over delivers. People hate on him online unnecessarily. That man always delivers a quote unquote first class performance in that ring. And he's been an absolute MVP for TNA ever since he got there. Knockouts Championship match is next. It was Lei Ying Lee. It was Ariana Grace. Ooh. Uh, this wasn't great, folks. I'm afraid. Um, it was sloppy. I didn't really get into it, and I could kind of see something coming a mile away when it did happen. It didn't shock me as much as perhaps it should have done. Um, let's just get to it. The ending of this match. So Lei Ying Lee kind of has the match won. She goes to pin Ariana Grace. The referee counts 1, 2. Zaya Brookside is at ringside. She pulls Ariana Grace's leg onto the ropes. And then Lei Ying Lee sort of looking at her going, why? She pulls onto the outside. Why the referee doesn't DQ, I'm not quite sure. She starts slapping away at Lei Ying Lee on the outside. And then back into the ring, Ariana Grace hits the knee strike to the back and picks up the victory. It wasn't great, but look, if the Zaya going heel, I don't know. But I think if it benefits her, then absolutely, it just wasn't, for me personally, wasn't executed as well as it could have been, and for a surprise factor. But nevertheless, Ariana Grace retains the Knockouts Championship. Then I have another bit of gripe, shall we say. Eric Young hijacks the pay-per-view and he calls out EC3. Bearing in mind we're in Cleveland, bearing in mind everything he's done in Cleveland, Exodus Pro Wrestling and everything. The music hits and there's no response from the crowd. And it sickened me because that guy is money. That guy's fantastic. And he makes quick work of EC3, clotheslines him over the top rope. And he says, saying he grabs the mic and then he basically says everyone here is from Cleveland, bitch. I just a crowd. It sucked. It absolutely sucked. The crowd really wasn't great. However, EC3 is going to be an in-ring action this coming Thursday on AMC Plus when he takes on the aforementioned Eric Young this Thursday on TNA Plus over here in the UK and AMC Plus and AMC over in the States and Sports Center 360 in Canada. Something to definitely watch. Hopefully, the crowd response for EC3 will be better than what he got given there because that was a disgrace for him. He should deserve so much better than that. Right. In from there to the TNA International Championship. Absolutely brilliant match of the night for me. Trey Miguel, Mustafa Ali. There was some crazy stuff on the outside of the ring involved in this. It was fast paced, high octane action. I think it was that was it. It was kind of like the what do you call that move? I can't even remember now. When your legs go on top of there and you throw them down. Anyway, he done Trey Miguel done it on the steps to Ali in this. It was fantastic. I think the only thing that perhaps makes the X Division match a little bit better was the interference factor again, because we saw the great hands in this get involved. They hit Trey Miguel with a pair of helmets, I think they were. By the way, Mustafa Ali's entrance is brilliant. You need to go and watch that on TNA, or you just watch the whole show, but we'll watch that especially as before the entrance of Mustafa Ali. They hit Trey Miguel with a pair of helmets. Mustafa Ali hits the 450 and becomes the new international champion. Brilliant, absolutely. Again, like I said with the Leon match, whoever had won that match, I wouldn't have been disappointed. Trey Miguel's had a good run. Obviously, come back when he was leaving. Ali has been the MVP of TNA ever since. Well, you could even count the first run that he had recently before he left and then come back. Um, awesome, absolutely awesome this match, and congratulations to the new international champion Mustafa Ali. Go out of your way to watch that. It is absolutely brilliant, and prepare for more bangers, I suppose, on the on the international championship match. Any international championship, any X Division match is going to be, excuse me, is going to be fantastic because of that. Um, they had an interview with Lei Ying Lee. She just asked the question, why on Zaya Brookside? Maybe Thursday on TNA, we'll find out. Now, we go to the back, or not the back, but we go to another vignette. Now, if you remember on Thursday on TNA, we ended the vignette with Abyss and Father James Mitchell reuniting. This was the Rosemary bit, and Abyss and James Mitchell reconciled this week. It was quite an emotional package, to be honest with you. Need to go and check it out. But the ending was great. Abyss was like, gotta go. And it was a click, Doomsday, the Abyss thing. It was great. It really was great. Where did we go from here, though? I mean, this thing, these vignettes, what's happened? Because she took Tessa Blanchard, she took Victoria Crawford, she took Minor Moore, she took Janet Stone. What's going on? Like, are we going to see more on Thursday? What's going on with the bunny? Are we going to see more Thursday? But that video package was really, really good with Abyss and Father Jim Mitchell. And hopefully it's not the last we see of Abyss in TNA. I know that he is a producer for WWE, but yeah, hopefully it's not the last we see him. World Tag Team Championship match now. The Hardys against the System. This was good. This was a good match. This really, really was. I think there was a bit of an issue with Jeff kicking out. Well, at the end here, I've given away the end, but fuck it. The System win the tag team championships. Brian Mice hit the super kick, Bear Bronson with the monster driver. It looked like Jeff had kicked out, but the ref still counted to 3. However, think the referee needed to do that, whatever happens. But that was it was still great. The system win, I think, was on the cards. When you look at, you know, the fact that they're coming together, the Hardys have had a lengthy run. They've still got issues with the Righteous, which I'm pretty sure we're going to have some kind of cinematic match, which is exactly what the Righteous said in their interview to us on the TNA exclusive. Go and check that out. They said that they wanted a cinematic match, and I think that's where we're going. That's where we're going with it. But it won't be for the tag team championships though, as the system pick up the victory, and now they have some gold or some gold in the ranks of the system. They could have a bit more gold yet when we get to the main event very shortly, but they have some gold nevertheless. And congratulations to Bear Bronson, blue chip up. We've said it all along on this channel, and he's going to be doing some great stuff now with Brian Myers, his trainer, of course. So trainer and student together as tag team champions. Congratulations to the system. Commiserations to the Hardys, but a great championship run was had, and they can move on to once again go for the Righteous. I'm looking forward to that kind of match in the compound or wherever it's going to be. It's going to be an interesting one. Right. So Moose and Alicia Edwards are backstage. Moose tells Alicia she needs to go to the hospital. Moose tells Alicia, Alicia said she's staying for the world title main event between Mike Santana and Eddie Edwards, and Moose gets up and leaves. More on that very shortly, because I predicted something was wrong, and I was right. Right. World Championship match. Mike Santana, Eddie Edwards. There was, I think, a bit of a pinfall issue again on this one near the end, because this could have got match of the night, but that let it down right near the end of the match, towards the closing stretch of this match. There was something gone, didn't go quite to the plan. But anyway, Alicia Edwards come down in this match. Then Moose come down, pointed to the screen, and it shows that Alicia Edwards has been with the system all along. Go back about 4 or 5 Impact review shows ago and see what I said on there. I even questioned Eddie Edwards on it on the TNA exclusive. He was very coy about another woman coming into the system, and that's why I've said it all along. I was absolutely right. Anyway, I think Alicia was meant to stop the referee from counting to 3 in this, but wasn't in the position to. The referee still counted to 2, but there was no. Anyway, it come off a bit of a mess. It really did. But and the finish, I don't know if that affected the closing sequence of the match, because Santana and Edwards seemed to be a bit out of sync after this. um, However, spin the block from Santana got the job done. He did do a big flip onto the outside, onto the, I think it was the Great Hands again, or it could have been Myers, and I can't remember. There's so much interference in some of these matches tonight. Um, but yes, he did hit spin the block. He did get the 1, 2, the 3, and Mike Santana reigns supreme still. Um, all in all, solid show for TNA. There was mixed, a couple of bits and pieces. The knockouts title match just really wasn't great, if I'm honest. The rest of it was, the rest of it was solid. As I said, a few in bits of miscommunication or something in there. The X Division, Moose and Special Agent Zero, the International Championship was brilliant. The main event was great. It could have been better, but that awkward spot near the end kind of brought it down a notch for me. But and a fantastic uh, introduction to ODB into the Hall of Fame was brilliant as well. So, all in all, really good highs, some a little bit low, but certainly a lot of bright spots in there as we move to this Thursday. TNA, AMC, and AMC Plus over here in the UK. TNA Plus, get it downloaded, get subscribed. $9.99 gives you a lot. And if you're a TNA fan, I'll be back on Friday with the TNA Impact Review Show, which will contain the debut of the in-ring debut, should I say, of EC3. And if you're a TNA fan and that's all you watch, until then, everybody, cross the line, stay safe, and goodbye.